Beyond every horizon lies a new frontier. Explore, build, evolve. Oralith Frontier.
Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something huge today, the reality of the multi-income professional. Look, whether you're freelancing, consulting on the side, or building a whole new business after hours, juggling multiple revenue streams brings up some wildly unique financial and legal landmines, the kind of stuff standard career advice just completely ignores. So our goal today is to totally demystify these mechanics so you can actually protect your hard work. Let's get right into it.
Okay, I want you to picture this for a second. You work a standard 9-to-5 job, right? But on Saturday, you hunker down and code a brilliant new app, or maybe design a groundbreaking logo, or write a whole new training program. Who actually owns the rights to that creation? Is it you, or is it your employer? The reality of who legally owns your side hustle can be a massive rude awakening, and it's something you literally must understand before you write a single line of code.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the multi-income reality, and then cover the general rules of IP ownership. Next, we'll break down commissioned versus employee works, explore exceptions to the rule, and finally look at best practices for avoiding disputes.
All right, Section 1, the multi-income reality. We are seeing this absolute shift in the modern workforce toward people juggling their primary salary with side gigs. But managing a single salary is hard enough. Adding freelance retainers or side business revenue into the mix, that makes financial decision-making exponentially harder. Without a really structured strategy, multi-income earners fall into these totally predictable traps. They end up overspending during high-income months and then inevitably undersaving for the lean periods. You just can't treat variable income the same way you treat a steady paycheck. So how do we practically handle this variable cash flow? Well, it requires a dedicated tax reserve tracker. Because when you get client payments without an automatic tax deduction at the source, guess what? You become your own HR department. The golden rule here is that you absolutely must manually set aside 25 to 30% of your gross payments into a dedicated tax reserve account, literally the exact same day you get paid. If you aren't proactive about this, I promise you, tax season is going to be a total disaster. Which brings us to a really crucial multiplier, 3 to 12. Standard financial advice usually tells you to keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. But because side income is inherently unpredictable, your safety net has to scale between 3 to 12 months of fixed expenses. The exact number you choose, that completely depends on your income concentration risk. If your secondary income relies on just one huge client, well, your risk is pretty high. In that case, you need to push much closer to that 12-month mark.
Moving on to Section 2, General Rules of IP Ownership. Okay, here is the foundational rule that catches so many people off guard. As a general principle, the employer owns the intellectual property rights to creations made by employees during the course of their employment. And honestly, the logic here is pretty straightforward. You're hired and paid to carry out tasks that generate new ideas. So, by default, the law generally assumes your brain power, while you're employed, is actively generating assets for the business that signs your paychecks.
Section 3, commission versus employee works.
Let's actually break down how this general rule applies across different working relationships. If you're an independent contractor doing commissioned work, the copyright generally belongs to the client who paid for it, unless your contract specifically says otherwise. But if you are a salaried employee, the economic rights almost always default to your employer if the creation is related to their business, or, and this is big, if it's made with their tools. We see this heavily reinforced in legal frameworks all over the world. Take the UAE copyright law, for example. It automatically transfers financial rights to the employer if company resources were used.
Okay, Section 4, exceptions to the rule.
Good news though, it's not a totally closed case. There is a critical, absolutely massive legal stipulation you need to know. If a creation is completely unrelated to your employer's business and you do not use any of the employer's resources, the economic rights actually remain with you. This should be a huge relief. You absolutely can retain your IP, but your boundaries have to be rock solid. You have to keep your side projects entirely separate. I mean, no using the company laptop, no coding on the company Wi-Fi during your lunch break, and absolutely zero overlap with your employer's actual business goals.
Now, I want to make a really vital distinction here between economic rights and moral rights. Regardless of who holds the financial or economic rights to a creation, the moral rights legally remain with the original creator. Basically, your right to be recognized as the author of the work, that's yours forever. Moral rights cannot be assigned or transferred to third parties, even if your employer is the one cashing the checks for the product you built.
Finally, Section 5, Best Practices for Avoiding Disputes.
So how do we prevent messy legal battles and keep your hard work safe? You've got to master 3 essential contracts. Step 1. Check your main employment agreement. You need to know the general IP provisions you actually agreed to when you got hired. Step 2. Review your non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs. These dictate exactly what proprietary information you are strictly forbidden from using in your side projects. And Step 3. If you're contracting, always sign clear IP assignment agreements. Seriously, clear written terms are your absolute best defense. Disputes almost always blow up when contracts are vague or people just assume things.
When you combine strong legal boundaries with strong financial boundaries, you build an incredibly resilient career. Pairing proactive legal contracts with practical financial tracking tools like dedicated multi-income templates secures both your intellectual rights and your variable revenue. You really have to be hyper-organized on both of these fronts if you truly want to protect your hustle.
I want to leave you with this final thought. Literally, ask yourself right now, is your side hustle truly yours? Or are you just building someone else's IP by accident? I challenge you to review your employment contracts today, audit your daily hustle habits, and double-check that you aren't accidentally using company resources for personal projects. Secure your financial strategy, lock down your intellectual property, and keep learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.
The journey doesn't end here. See you at the next frontier. Oralith Frontier.